afternoon. I would like to announce that the November 10th, 2021 regular board meeting is being conducted pursuant to California Code, Section 54953, concerning teleconferencing of meetings. Board member Dr. Victoria M. Ruffin is participating in this meeting by teleconference from 4631 East Avenue S, Palmdale, California, 93552. This location has been identified on the meeting agenda. The meeting is being recorded and all actions will be taken by a roll call vote. As noted on the agenda, attendees are required to wear a face covering upon entering the facility, and anyone wishing to observe the meeting may do so via ABUHSD's YouTube channel. Those wishing to address items on the agenda and matters that are not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of the Antelope Valley Union High School District Board shall do so in person, complete a speaker form, and give it to the secretary. I will call the individual's name to come up to the podium to provide their comments. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and the total time for public input on each item shall be limited to 20 minutes. Non-agendized items are limited to a time allotment of 20 minutes. No speaker may relinquish a time allotment to another speaker. Speakers are cautioned that under California law, no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments regarding any person simply because those comments are made at a public meeting. I would like to take this opportunity to remind all attendees of the board's civility policy, Board Policy 1313. This civility policy requires that members of the district staff will treat parents and other members of the public with respect and expect the same in return. The district is committed to maintaining orderly educational and administrative processes free from disruptions. This includes the district's board meetings. The district promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among district board members, district employees, parents, and public. The district seeks public cooperation with this endeavor. The district encourages members of the public to attend board meetings and to address the board concerning any item on the agenda or within the board's jurisdiction. The board does not prohibit public criticism of its policies, procedures, or programs, services, acts, or missions. Similarly, the board does not prohibit public criticism of district employees. While members of the public have a right to speak to the board is obligated to and will maintain a safe and disruption-free environment during the district's board meetings. To this extent, we ask that speakers consider the decorum of this official meeting and remind speakers that comments and criticism can be politely and respectfully stated so as not to disrupt the orderly conduct of this meeting. The board will not permit any disturbance or willful interruption of its board meetings. Persistent disruption by an individual or group are grounds to terminate the privilege of addressing the board. The board shall not permit any disturbances or willful interruption of a board meeting. Persistent disruption by an individual shall be grounds to terminate the individual's privilege to address the board. Additionally, the board may remove disruptive individuals in order to bring clear if necessary. In such a case, members of the media not participating in the disturbance will be allowed to remain. When the room is ordered cleared due to disturbance, further board proceedings will concern only matters appearing on the agenda. For roll call, I would like to ask Dr. Ruffin to respond to the following questions. Are you able to hear our proceedings on your end?
Yes.
Do you have a copy of the agenda for this meeting?
Yes.
Has the agenda been posted on your location?
Yes.
Is your location such that any member of the public can participate in the public portions of this teleconference meeting from your location?
Yes.
Members of the board, are you able to hear Dr. Ruffin? Mr. Martinez is not here. Ms. Perrell?
Yes.
Ms. Wynn?
Yes.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
And Ms. McGrady? Yes. So we will now go to closed session, but first, members of the public, do we have any comments from closed session?
We don't have any comments for closed session.
Okay, thank you. So we will go to closed session now, and we'll be back at 5 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Whoa, which comes from going? Oh, yeah. Doing good, man. Thanks. Hey, Rachel,
Hey
I
there.
forgot to send you an email. I'll be speaking to Karen.
Oh, okay. That's not a problem. When
Okay.
they call it CSEA, just come on up and speak.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just say, I don't care what. Don't have to buy it, I will go for it. All good.
Sounds good.
We got an hour to hang out.
Yeah. Water in my gut. Um,
Good afternoon. I would like to reopen the meeting for the Antelope Valley Union High School District. Would like to announce that the November 10th, 2021 regular board meeting is being conducted pursuant to California Government Code, Section 54953, concerning teleconferencing fees. Board member Dr. Victoria M. Ruffin is participating in this meeting by teleconferencing from 4631 East Avenue S, Palmdale, California, 93552. This location has been identified on the meeting agenda. The meeting is being recorded and all actions will be taken by a roll call vote. As noted on the agenda, attendees are required to wear a face covering upon entering the facility, and anyone wishing to observe the meeting may do so via ABUHSD's YouTube channel. Those wishing to address items on the agenda and matters that are not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of the Antelope Valley Union High School District Board shall do so in person, complete a speaker's form, and give it to the secretary. I will call the individual's name to come up to the podium to provide their comments. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes, and a total time of public input on each item should be limited to 20 minutes. Non-agendized items are limited to a total allotment time of 20 minutes. No speaker may relinquish a time allotment to another speaker. Speakers are cautioned that under California law, no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments regarding any person simply because those comments are made at a public meeting. I would like to take this opportunity to remind all attendees of the board's civility policy, Board Policy 1313. This civility policy requires that members of the district staff will treat parents and other members of the public with respect and expect the same in return. The district is committed to maintaining orderly educational and administrative processes free from disruptions. This includes the district's board meetings. The district promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among district board members, district employees, parents, and the public. The district seeks public cooperation with this endeavor. The district encourages members of the public to attend board meetings and to address the board meetings concerning the board concerning any item on the agenda or within the board's jurisdiction. The board does not prohibit public criticism of its policies, procedures of programs, services, acts, or missions. Similarly, the board does not prohibit public criticism of district employees. While members of the public have a right to speak to the board is obligated to and will maintain a safe and disruption-free environment during district's board meetings. To this extent, we ask that speakers consider the decorum of this official meeting and remind speakers that comments and criticism can be politely and respectfully stated so as not to disrupt the orderly conduct of the meeting. The board will not permit any disturbance or willful interruption of its board meeting. Persistent disruption by an individual or group are grounds to terminate the privilege of addressing the board. The board shall not permit any disturbances or willful interruption of a board meeting. Persistent disruption by an individual shall be grounds to terminate the individual's privilege to address the board. Additionally, the board may remove disruptive individuals and order the room cleared if necessary. In such a case, members of the media not participating in the disturbance will be allowed to remain. When the room is ordered cleared due to a disturbance, further board proceedings will concern only matters appearing on the agenda. I would like to ask Dr. Ruffin to respond to the following questions. Are you able to hear our
Yes.
Are you able to hear our proceedings on your end?
Yes.
Do you have a copy of the agenda for this meeting?
Yes.
Has the agenda been posted at your location?
Yes.
Is your location such that any member of the public can participate in the public portions of this teleconference meeting from your location?
Yes.
Members of the board, are you able to hear Dr. Ruffin? Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Grady? Yes. Ms. Nguyen, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I would be honored. Would you please stand? Put your right hand over your heart. This is what they say in elementary school. Ready, begin. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My grandson taught me that. You have to say. "Put your hand up."
Thank you. We are at 4A, Pinko meeting, public comments from the floor for Pinko items. Do we have any comments from the floor on Pinko items?
We don't have any comments at this time for people items.
Thank you. We'll move right on to B. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the awards for the term of agreement from November 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. May I have a motion? Motion. Thank you, Ms. Burrell, a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Rush. Having a motion, first and a second, do we have any discussion? Okay, we'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Burrell? Aye. Aye. Dr. Rutherford?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Crush?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. McGrady is a yes, so that passes by a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. We are on C. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and authorize the purchases outlined in the attached schedule. May I have a motion? Motion. Ms.
I
Burrell
second.
and Ms. Nguyen is a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Burrell? Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. McGrady is an aye, so the item passes by a vote of 5-0 with the member voting yes. We will now reconvene our regular meeting. Mr. Martinez, we are happy to turn it over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board and cabinet, we got the first ICC presentation of the night, and we have Lancaster High School.
Good afternoon to the board and cabinet. We are Lancaster High School ASB's Board of Control, and we are so excited to inform you of all that we have been doing around our school. So first off, we would like to start by introducing ourselves. Unfortunately, our president, Indian Leonard, was not able to make it today, but the rest of our board is here and ready to introduce themselves to you.
I'm Roman Laredo, the ASB Vice President.
I'm Eileen Acevedo, VP of Activities. I'm Catherine Valmonte, the Treasurer. I'm Caitlin Valmonte, the Secretary. I'm Chelsea Moreno, Historian.
Nuru Hernandez, BOC member.
Kevin Falcons, BOC member.
And I'm Javier Zarate, the BOC member.
Okay, so our homecoming theme for this year was based on the new Spider-Man movie, No Way Home. And it was really cool because it brought in a lot of excitement and something to look forward to for our students in this, our first homecoming back. So for our spirit days, we had a lot of participation from our students, from staff and teachers, and it was really cool to see everyone participating in it. And we also had, during the week, we had music, games, and activities for students to partake in.
So for the homecoming pep rally, we had performances from our cheer team, our drumline, color guard, ROTC, and many other sports teams and clubs. And we also had senior athlete recognition for the in-sports season, which was mainly our girls' sports like girls' tennis and girls' golf, and our seniors really appreciated that. We also had many games for student participation, such as an obstacle course, tarp race, tug of war, and more, and everybody really enjoyed that too. And lastly, for the homecoming pep rally, we had our homecoming court announcement for our homecoming that was the day after. And this was so everyone could see who is running for the homecoming court, which will be announced, or our winners, the king and queen, will be announced for homecoming the next day. And then for our homecoming football game, which was later on, we had a red wave dress up. So all the students in the crowd wore red, and we also had spirit dots. So we painted red dots on their faces so it would match the red wave theme. And then we also had band and cheer performances during halftime. And we also had our Eagle Eat Snack Shack open to the side, so everyone, including the families, could have food and drinks during the game. And we also had a lot of music, and overall, it was just a great time for everyone.
So for our homecoming parade, I was the host of it. We were lucky enough to get our fire engine 112 to come. Everyone here got to ride on the back of it. We had a lot of fun. We had our sports team come out. We had our clubs come out, interact. The senior club came out. What else? Oh yeah, a car club, a car show. It was lucky lit. We had a great time. Everyone had fun. Our game, we won it. We all went out to eat after, and we had a really nice experience.
During our homecoming dance, we had a DJ, a taco truck, and we also gave recognition to our homecoming court. This dance was a way for us to bring many students together so that everybody can have a really fun time. And Lancaster also had the pleasure of being featured on Channel 7 News to give more recognition to one of our homecoming princes. This year, we also continued Eagle Vision, where we give weekly updates to students on what's to come. Teachers usually play this during the beginning of class every Wednesday, and this is a way for us to give teachers/staff and students spotlights. For our pink out game, students were able to dress up in pink throughout the whole day to help promote cancer awareness. We also created a cancer awareness poster so that students can write friends or family members that they know that have dealt or are still battling cancer to show our support. During the game, our cheer and youth football team performed during halftime. We also decided to create a student section on the bleachers to help keep the energy in one area. For our Spooky Spirit Week, students were able to dress up throughout the whole week to help keep up the energy and excitement for Halloween and our fall festival.
The Friday before Halloween, we decided to have a fall festival for our community. Anyone could come to this event with a small fee. There was a haunted house with collaboration with stagecrafts, and there was a bunch of different games and food by a bunch of different clubs. This was a great way for our clubs to fundraise and get themselves out there. There was also a taco truck and a lot of music.
Occasionally, as a class of ASB, we'll get together and have team building days where in class we're doing different activities to be able to help boost our morales and build our bonds together, which then pushes out into the school and helps build a higher morale for everybody, and it helps us all stay together and stay connected.
That is all we have for you. We thank you for listening.
Is your ASB mentor here tonight by any chance?
No, unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it today.
Please let him know that we appreciate the work he does as well as the work that you do. It's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
I just want to say great presentation. But next we're gonna welcome Eastside High School.
Good evening, board and cabinet. Good evening, board and cabinet. This is the Eastside Icc presentation. I'm so happy to be here. Go Lions! Okay, the first thing we have is the Hispanic Heritage Art Talk. So what this is, it is honoring diversity. So we have the Los Leones at our school, and this group of people is a folklorico group at our school. And what they do is they perform at events that range from our showcase, our yearly showcase, and the special homecoming. Not only does this feel like a family for the coordinator, which is Ms. Munoz, but it feels like a family for the students as well. Personally, this is my favorite group of the school because it's honoring a different type of background. Okay, so then we have the Hispanic Heritage Art Talk. So what this was, it was highlighting different cultural aspects of the Central American community. It talked about different painters, food, and main cities. The different painters that were discussed were Dali, Diego Rivera, and Picasso.
Good morning or good afternoon, board. My name is Rebecca Montalto, and I'm ASB Fifth Officer. So what I'm going to talk to you today about is our homecoming dance, which was held on October 23rd, where we nearly sold 900 tickets. That's about 1/3 of our student population. It was our first outdoor dance, and our first dance coming back from distance learning and COVID. I would say personally that I had a lot of fun on the dance floor with my friends, and I saw a lot of the students having fun on the dance floor and in the photo booth.
Good evening. I'm Jasmine Quiroz. I'm Eastside's Vice President, or ASB Vice President. And in front of me, I have a couple of pictures of students that attended our homecoming dance. After the dance, I went around and asked a couple of students how they felt about being back after being on social distancing and distance learning. And the majority of them said that they actually enjoyed being back, being able to create memories with their friends, dancing, taking pictures, eating, and just being able to create a positive opportunity for students to add to their high school memories and experience.
Hello, my name is Nyla Winden. I'm ASB Secretary, and I'm going to be talking about two of the very first Eastside Hall of Fame inductees. First, we have Ms. Young, who was very essential in the planning of Eastside High School, and her and our current band director, Mr. Hickson, were the first people to introduce the idea of arts in the 90s. She retired after 35 years in education and 15 years at Eastside. Next, we have Mr. Alman, who graduated in the class of 2009. He is a signed Roth artist who has gone on world tours and exhibited for shows like The Nom for 10 consecutive years.
Hello, right here. Oh, there we go. Hello, guys. My name is Amir Bey. I am I'm Eastside's ASB treasurer, and I will be continuing the Hall of Fame inductees with Ms. Bogart, who was honored for entrepreneurship. While many students like to take various routes after high school, she decided to create her own photography business. And within her photography business, she has published multiple photography magazines. And she's helped shape her community by taking these photographs and basically showing stories of hardships and perseverance. Next, we have Mr. Joshua Kelly, who's being honored for athletics. And an honorable mention for him was that during his high school years, he set a single season record for the most yards rushed, which is, a very big accomplishment. And his dominance continued in college when he went to UC Davis and UCLA. And he eventually declared himself into the 2020 NFL draft and was selected 112th overall pick by the Los Angeles Chargers. Last but not least, we have Ms. Diamond Guilford, who is also being recognized for athletics. And she is a two-time regional state champ. And she won those in 2016 and 2017. In her final year of high school, she was named an All-American in both folk style and freestyle positions. And in 2018, she was given the opportunity to be a part of the junior award team. And she is currently living at the, my bad. She is currently living at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado. Thank you.
Thank you, Board and Cabinet. This concludes our presentation.
Thank you so much for being with us this evening. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Let's get on now. Give them just a moment to get out. As we move forward in our agenda, we are at the presentation. A presentation from Antelope Valley Union High School District Educator Effectiveness Expenditure Plan. Mr. Meehan.
Good evening, members of the board. Items B and C are almost identical on your agenda. They're separate presentations for the district as well as for the Antelope Valley Academies of the Antelope Valley Charter. With your permission, I can present them together and just highlight the differences. Okay. So just this is just an overview of the second round of the Educator Effectiveness Funds grant. The purpose of the grant, can you go back one year? P. There we go. The purpose of the grant is to promote educator equity, quality, and effectiveness in our teachers, administrators, and paraprofessionals. For the school years of 21 through 2026, the district will receive $4.773 million. And the Antelope Valley Academies of the Antelope Valley will receive $145,914. And it's the funds are calculated based off of the number of certificated and classified employees that meet the criteria of administrator, teacher, counselor, or paraeducator. Allowable uses for the fund, coaching and mentoring instructional staff, literacy across all subjects, student engagement, socio-emotional learning, positive school climate, inclusive practices, language acquisition for English learners, new professional learning networks, and ethnic studies. Our areas of focus would be to continue to enhance our teacher induction program. The district operates its own induction program, which allows new teachers to come to us and teachers who've already been teaching but out of the state of California and finish their credentials. This allows for some online courses, mentor teachers and online training, new teacher conferences, and plenty of materials to support them. We would also propose to add an administrator induction program as well, same as the teachers. It would allow our administrators to clear their credentials through the district. Currently, we work with the Kern County Office of Education. We'd also target professional learning in the areas of curriculum and instruction with Writing Revolution. It's a program that we've piloted at a couple of our sites and want to see expanded district-wide. Keynote speakers on our student free days, equity book studies, EL acquisition training and support for teachers, Avid Path training in all content areas, classroom management, and socio-emotional learning supports for teachers in the classroom. And then on the technology side, we want to continue our Google certification program, and we want to add Promethean certification. So we have certified trainers on all of our campuses that would be from our teaching staffs to support all of the Promethean boards we've recently put in. The timeline again is this school year 2021 through the 25-26 end of 25-26. Next steps, we'll submit a plan for your consideration at the next board meeting for both AAV and the district. Once the plan's approved, the budgets will be set and it'll be put in motion, and the business office will do all of the spending for us. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions?
I do, I always do. I'm just curious about the, what exactly does student engagement accelerated learning involve?
So student accelerated learning is anytime a student would be behind in credits. It would be to move them along faster than the normal pace, which is 5 credits per class per semester. So like our variable credit programs, an independent study, and the alternative sites, it's teaching teachers strategies to help students learn faster to make progress towards graduation.
And since this is a 5-year plan, is there a way that the spending could be flexible? I mean, how do you know in 5 years how many people you're going to have in the academies? So
we try to make a plan that's broad and open. If we were to have needs that were outside of the current plan, we'd bring any amendments back for board consideration.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? We thank you so much. Appreciate it. Moving forward, we're at D for the board officer report. Is there anything to report tonight?
The only thing that I wanted to report is we had executive meetings this past month, and our next Antelope Valley School Board Association meeting is November 18th, and it will be held at Roseman Elementary at 6 o'clock. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving forward, Antelope Valley Schools Transportation is talking.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. From ABTA, Mr. Dan Shy. I don't see Mr. Shy. Anyone else from ABTA? Okay, we'll go to CSEA. I believe Mr. Frazier is in the room. Thank you. Come on down.
All right, board, cabinet, members in the audience, good evening. My name is Kyle Frazier. I'm the vice president for CSEA Chapter 612. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Karen, she's taking a well-deserved break. And I wish her well as I fill in for her tonight. I want to speak on the MOU regarding reclassifications. As you're well aware, the majority of our classification descriptions are the same as they were 20, 30 years ago. This MOU was to help address the most pressing classifications that needed to be addressed. We were recently notified this year that the district anticipates sticking to the language of the MOU and addressing only 3 classifications. The MOU language says we will review at least 3 positions each year, at least meaning the minimum number allowed, and there can be more than 3 when circumstances allow. We feel the circumstances are good and we can address more than 3. Last year, we had 6 positions submitted for review, but none of those were addressed. We understand we were dealing with the pandemic, trying to figure out how to return students to the schools. We feel with 0 being addressed last year and things getting back to some kind of normalcy, we can pick up the slack and address more than 3. We only have 7 classifications submitted for review this year. So I hope we reconsider and we can work together moving forward on this. With the lack of substitutes in the district, keeping staff shorthanded in certain classifications, we still see the need for a permanent roving position in some of these classifications, security and paraprofessionals in particular. We think this would be beneficial to these departments and to the districts, as the main purpose would be to respond to the site that is in need at that time. I'll end my time here by thanking you guys for getting those bonus and retro checks into the hands of our members so quickly. I know they were right on time for many of our members, and it sounds like some of these members with educational incentives will have another check coming to them shortly. So appreciate it. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. We are at H, public comments from the floor for agendized items. First, Ms. Roscoe, do we have any in that category?
We don't have any for agendized items.
Okay, but do we have any? We'll move on to I. Do we have, if we have some, I'll read the paragraph, but if we don't have any, I'll move on.
For item I, we have 9 comments.
Okay, the public will on I. This is from the floor for non-agendized items. The public is invited to address the board on any matter not on the agenda that is within the jurisdiction of the board. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and the total time for public input shall be limited to 20 minutes. During public comments, the board listens to concerns and issues. The board may ask questions for purposes of clarification. The law prohibits the board from entering into a dialogue with the public or taking action on items not on the agenda. And so we do have comments, okay?
Diana Padilla Garcia.
Hello, good evening. My name is Diana Padilla Garcia, and I'm a parent of 3 kids at Highland High School. And I was just here to talk in regards to some issues that we've had with security at our school site, that just as they're reporting the COVID numbers that are happening in the school sites, they're also supposed to be reporting to us parents if any crimes are committed on our campuses, and we don't get any of that. We hear the stories from the students. I officially filed 2 complaints. One was a Williams complaint for teacher misassignment. My child is in special ed. He was assigned a 30-day substitute teacher, and 30 days passed and there was no actual teacher in the classroom. We finally fixed that, but all of the reports are written with many errors. So I reached out to Marissa Rislings, who's been handling that issue, but she's just not getting back to me with fixing the actual report. The other complaint that I filed was in regards to the security at the school site. I came into the school back in September 13th, and I was faced with hostile harassment and intimidation from part of the security staff, the director from the school site. As a parent, I believe I have the right to step foot on my child's campus and inquire when there's security issues that are being brought to my attention. I fear for their safety, especially since I have my special ed student. He's nonverbal, so it's difficult for me to send them off to the school site and hear about all these horrendous stories that are happening on site. So I come in as a parent and I want to get answers, but instead I get thrown out of campus by a sheriff's officer.
30 seconds.
So, I mean, that's not right. I tried to speak to Mr. Grado about it. He did respond after I filed a complaint, but still the report puts words on my mouth that were not there. So, I mean, I hope that you guys can help me clear this and reach out to administration to find a solution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take this off. No.
I'm sorry, no, yeah. It was the first to hear you, but sorry.
My name is Mario and I'm an alumnus of Quartzo High School. When I graduated as a rebel, I never expected to lose my history because of you. How in 1984. During my time on campus, I saw our school remove our mascot saber, flag, and eventually the mascot itself. Nothing this board can do will change my diploma or the fact that I'm a rebel. In elementary school, we learned about discrimination when we read a story entitled The Sneetches by Dr. Seuss. Sneetches were yellow bird-like animals with green stars on their bellies. The creatures with stars on their bellies felt they were superior to those without and went so far as to make unstarred Sneetches feel excluded. As I walked around Los Angeles recently, I saw vaccinated-only signs in restaurants and indoor spaces, and I was reminded of this tale. When a friend called me crying because she'd been kicked out and all the patrons clapped at her removal, my heart broke. This isn't 1961, is it? Just yesterday, I saw that a teacher at Quartzo High School proudly displayed their vaccination status and dates on the whiteboard. Students do not need to be privy to educators' private medical information. It would be equally inappropriate for a homosexual instructor to post their STD panel after attending a pride event for minors to see. I don't have children of my own in your district, so I loudly proclaim that I don't care about the rich kids, poor kids, black kids, white kids, or brown kids, because I care about all kids. Antelope Valley Union High School District has received $114,736,903 from COVID relief money, roughly $5,699 per student. If you don't submit your district to the draconian segregation of your students and staff, you have to pay every penny back. These numbers and stipulations are very clearly outlined in the American Restoration Act and on EdSource, a publicly available government-hosted website. Can you provide me, a homeowner, an alumnus taxpayer, and the parents of your students a receipt for how this money was spent? Our students were not in class for an entire year and all extracurricular events were canceled. So where is the $114 million? We know you didn't spend it on books because class was online as was most of the material. Students are struggling to catch up and this board is playing favoritism with star-bellied staff. The schools are now creating vaccination sites to inject children without parental consent. But I wonder if a child has an adverse reaction, will the board take on the medical responsibility and corresponding hospital bills? Will $5,699 be enough to buy the parent's silence? Studies have proven that unvaccinated individuals who contracted coronavirus and recovered have stronger immunity and longer lasting protection than vaccinated individuals.
30 seconds.
So why does the school see the need to spend money on additional testing and clinics for those willing to submit their bodies? You're not going to assume responsibility for a child slipping into a seizure after injection against the parent's wishes. We all know that. We want our children to grow up into happy, healthy adults capable of critical thinking and problem solving. We don't want our children to succumb to peer pressure in the form of alcoholism, risky behavior, or having a star on their belly.
Thank you very much. Move on to our next person.
Vivian?
I got a bad name.
You said we can remove these? We can remove these?
No, I'm sorry.
No, I don't mind. I'll keep them on anyway. Keep them on. Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Victoria Ruffin. Hello, Executive Secretary, Mr. Roscoe, and this young man here. Appreciate that. I'm the parent again that keeps coming back to say what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna keep coming back because of this. Let me pass it around real quick. I'm gonna show you what I got. Oh, yeah. Yeah, let me tell you why I'm really here today. I wish you could see this. That young man is just now sat down. It's okay that he has a right to do what he wants to do and speak as he pleases, he should. But in those climates today, as we are in this here building, you would think that you would all have a little bit more clout and sophistication to say the climate is not right for him to wear the Confederate flag. Let me tell you why I'm gonna say it. I can care less who cares how I feel. But in this Valley newspaper that your Julie Drake, the favorite one, the one that's always here to promote, she takes a picture of a young Black man saying, "Foes disrupt ABUSD meeting." You almost threw this young woman up out of here. I could reach over and touch this and it's right in front of me again tonight with his flag. That's his right. Got a right to whatever he feels. But this is what the right I feel that you should do. This promotion of saying foes disrupt Antelope Valley meetings with a Black young man standing up here who didn't do a damn thing wrong. But the first thing that you see subliminally is a Black person. This is how the picture is of our state of this town. He didn't do anything. The last comment that Mrs. So-called Julie Drake write about this young man is saying, oh, he asked, why do we have to have both security and the officers? But the picture alludes to the fact that it's a Black young man that's starting problems in Antelope Valley, making it look like Black folks got problems. And we don't. We love our teachers. We love our races of white, Blacks, and all that are sitting up here doing what's right. We don't like you sitting up here lying like to that parent who she can't get no justification for what's going on behind it. I got told that it's okay that a teacher, DJ Hines, called the kids, get your butts out there and play like some nigga. Just because it didn't go through the complaint the way you think, I'm not gonna bow down. Amanda Perel, you and Dr. Ruffin and Mr. Dr. Coronado showed up at our Panera Bread meeting to discuss this personally. And turn around, here comes James Stockdale and Anthony Hunt. I'm with him. Coming to talk to a parent who gets 3 minutes to speak. Now I'm getting ready to go handle some business up in the courthouse, right? Because you know why people are not here today? Because they're all being served. They're being served to be apprentices and different things. Thank you. But I'm gonna say this. This is why I came to the district. Black, white, Spanish, and all kind of kids got told by DJ Hines that you never have been at that school. Go out there and play like some niggas. This young man was speaking highly. This is like my Black son. He just spoke very highly. But the picture alludes that a Black person did something wrong. And I take offense to it. Because I came to the district to ask you all to help. But Dr. Vieira went ahead and retired. And this is the way you guys conduct the meetings here. Come on.
Roscoe, who do we have next?
Hal Steinberg.
So, good evening, board members. As you are aware, Council the contract advocates for the removal of all school resource officers from ABUHSD campuses. We understand this request is something at this point the board is not willing to agree to. But we have another immediate concern we would like to address tonight. And that is the district's contract with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department does not clearly spell out parameters for the interactions between students and SROs, which has led to incidents of excessive force like at Lancaster High School being used on students, as well as the harmful criminalization of student behavior. The contract's language is vague, simply stating that ABUHSD is hiring the Sheriff's Department to provide law enforcement services to schools. The captain of the Lancaster Sheriff's Station informed our coalition that there are no modifications of the LASD use of force policy when it is dealing with students. He asserted that the Sheriff's Department has been given no instructions from the district on how and when deputies are permitted to interact with its students. This is problematic because the Sheriff's Department has a documented history of misconduct against students of color or people of color in the Antelope Valley, which resulted in the 2015 settlement agreement with the Department of Justice. The DOJ has told our coalition that SROs are covered under that agreement. Cancel the contract is simply asking the district to hold SROs who are dealing with our children
to the same standards in schools as is applied to police elsewhere in our community. The coalition is therefore asking that the district immediately codify SRO behavior first in an MOU and finally in district policy. And we respectfully request the following be included in that policy. Currently, the district does not interview SRO candidates. They trust the Sheriff's Department decision on who to station on each campus. And the district is responsible for the welfare of students and therefore needs to be the one interviewing potential SROs. So thank you for your time and hopefully we can have a productive conversation.
Thank you very much. We're moving forward, I believe, but we're number 5.
Raquel Derkler.
Good evening. My name is Raquel Derkler. I'm going to continue with the request we have with cancel the contract as far as what would be included in your SRO policy that should be district-wide. We are asking that school resource officers are prohibited from using the following on students: pepper spray, mace, tear gas, rubber bullets, and zip ties. We are asking the following types of force be prohibited from being applied to students by a student resource officer, including pressure point control, pain compliance techniques, hitting the youth with a closed fist, throwing students into walls, throwing students to the floor, kicking or striking youth, pulling a student's hair, using chokeholds or blows to the student's head, strip searches, body slams, sweeping the student's feet out from underneath them, pinning students to the ground with a knee, pushing a student's face into the ground, wall, or locker, and using taunting or foul language with the students. Counselors and other school officials should handle bullying, harassment, disruptiveness, vandalism, drug and alcohol abuse, and other nonviolent incidents. School staff should only call police when there is a real and immediate physical threat to students, teachers, or public safety. Law enforcement officers seeking to interview students on campus must first secure consent from the principal and the student's parents or guardians. The principal should provide consent only when the police officer has a judicial court's order, except in cases where the student presents a real and immediate physical threat to other students, teachers, or to the public. Students should have the right to have their parent, guardian, or adults of their choosing present during questioning, and interviews should occur in a private location away from other students. We are asking that the district create specific protocols for how and when police interact with students in schools. Schools must have an internal crisis plan with de-escalation techniques and protocols to follow before calling the police. When police are called or seek access to a student, the school should notify a parent or guardian to provide them an opportunity to be present. Schools must always ensure police read a student their rights. And lastly, students must recognize the vulnerability of young children and employ strategies for avoiding escalation and improving interactions with youth, such as approaching youth with a calm demeanor, being patient, and to model the respect that they would like in return. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Isabel Platts.
Hello, once again, everybody. It's the agitator here. That's what Miss Julie Drake wrote. But let's talk about the truth of how, the Confederate flag does play a huge emotional role in Black lives, right? Let's talk about that. It's up to you guys, I guess, to understand that this article that was written, it's kind of leading, isn't it? Foes disrupt AVSU meeting, break order during comment period. Confederate flags are being worn in student and school board meetings, like that's the thing to do, right? I just am not understanding. I don't think anybody here can comprehend, like, the turmoil that it causes. But we're going to get back onto what cancel the contract is about. We're here to take SROs off of campuses because of what Ms. Diana said earlier about her special needs son who is getting tormented at school and how she got kicked out of campus from an SRO officer just because she inquired on what's going on with her son. If you knew better, you would do better. Can you guys do better? Danita, can you do better? Jill, can you do better? Mr. Rush, can you do better? Miss Ruffin, can you do better? Miss Perrell, can you do better? I'm just not understanding it. Somebody's gonna have to die by an SRO officer, just like they did in Long Beach, over nothing, when all of this could be subsided. Certain things that need to be put into place, I feel like, is this. There is no protocol for officers on campus. So we must understand that if your 15-year-old child is going to school and he has a behavioral problem with the teacher, does that constitute them being slammed and being taken to juvenile hall without their parents knowing? Would you want your daughter or your son, if they're going through any mental breakdown at school, to be thrown into juvenile hall straight from school and ruin their life? This is called a school to prison pipeline. This is what we're talking about here. So what we want to do is end the practice of arrest and referral to law enforcement for common adolescent behaviors. We all were adolescent before. You know, in the Bible it says that when you were little, you were a child, but when you grew up, you thought like a man. So these adolescent behaviors, are they constituted for these police officers to come and slam them on the ground because they talk back to them? I just don't understand.
Good evening, my name is Mark Napolitano. I've been a resident of the Antelope Valley for 34 years. I actually graduated from Highland High School in 2004. I just wanted to touch a little bit on mandates. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, I know you have a few schools with City of Palmdale, and I'm not sure how things coincide with Department or LA County health codes, but City of Palmdale about 2 weeks ago dropped the state of emergency. And City of Palmdale Council is also proposing legislation to end all mandates. I was present at the City Hall speaking, and we had I believe, junior high speaker or junior high teacher, excuse me. And she spoke about how kids were coming up to her and speaking about committing suicide. And I do believe that cases have dropped drastically. And there's a lot of science that goes against some of the stuff that's being pushed. I do have a child currently in Westside School District, which I'll be attending those meetings. But as far as somebody mentioned with the money that's being allocated, if it's $5,600 per student, it is kind of interesting to know how that money is being spent. Because I mean, $5,600, that's a good amount of money. But my other question would be, as far as if the City of Palmdale goes through with this legislation on ending all mandates, which I know that's a city issue, maybe not so much a school issue, but if they do proceed with this and the city does stop mandates as far as wearing masks indoors and things like that matter, how is it that the school board would interact with that? Is that something that you guys would take upon consideration? I know you guys are basically pretty much separate, but that's about all I got. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Martinez.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mickey Martinez. I have 2 students at Highland High School. I have 2 students at Quartz Hill High School. And I'm also a teacher in a different district. I'd like to talk about mandates and then touch on the cancel of the contract. So I just wanted to point out or ask, where is the off-ramp for these mandates? What is the metrics for that? Specifically, what is the school board looking for to end these mandates, these abusive mandates, these discriminatory testing, the pushing of acts that does not work? A school's purpose is to teach critical thinking skills. If the school board is not using critical thinking skills to determine our off-ramp, then you should resign. If you are waiting for the county to tell county or state to tell us what to do with our school district specifically, then you should resign. And let's see. If you can't look at Sweden, India, Japan, Israel, and UK and critically evaluate that information, if you can't look at AV case rate and evaluate that information, if you won't acknowledge Florida's success, then you should resign. I'm embarrassed that school districts aren't exemplifying critical thinking, but rather robotic compliance. Do you even look at the data? There's a 99.9775% survival rate, which means 0.9% are hospitalized in ages 0 to 49. So please do your job and look out for the best interests of your students and staff. I have to touch on the cancel the contract. I'd like to say, like I said, I have 2 students at Highland, 2 students at Quartzville, and I feel safe. I feel that every time I have an issue, I talk to the principal, I talk to security, and they work on it immediately. So I'm going to speak as a teacher. As a teacher, there's times where it's not normal adolescent behavior. And I'm thankful that obviously nobody should stomp somebody out, but restraining, yes, please save my kid. Please save my kid. So thank you. I wanted to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dominique Castro.
Is that it? Oh, do we have one more?
I'd like to address my name is Dominic Castro. I'd like to address the mask mandates and the vax. I have multiple children in the West Side District. I have my oldest one in the high school district. And I don't understand as to why they're being forced to wear the mask and why we're even addressing the mandatory vaccinations in that level. With the numbers that have been reported and the survivability of the virus, there's no reason for them to be this. The homeschooling, my second child, she was so depressed last year, and it was because of not having that socialization with her classmates and being around the other individuals in the school for her to be active. It really did wear on all these people, and I don't understand why we have to have these things that they're not doing anything. You read the box on what the paper masks say, and it does not prevent the spread of a virus. So with that being said, please sincerely think about this and make your decisions with informed knowledge. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe that concludes our comments from the public. Thank you. So we are moving forward. We are on 7A on our agenda. Antelope Valley Union High School District ABTA collective bargaining MOU regarding home teaching and period substituting. May I have, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the agreement with ABTA as presented. May I have a motion? Motion. Thank you, Ms. Pearl. A second?
Second.
Second, I heard Ms. Wynn first. Any discussion? Hearing none, we will call for the vote. Mr. Martinez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Ms. Pearl. Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Wynn?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. McGrady is an aye, so that passes by a vote of 5-0 with Mr. Martinez voting yes. We are on the approval of adjustment to the avid tutor hourly pay rates. The Board of Trustees approve, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the adjustment to the avid tutor hourly pay rates as presented. Sorry, say that real fast twice. May I have a motion? Motion. I think Ms. Burrell, a second.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Rush, and any discussion? We'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez.
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell. Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin.
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Wynn.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush.
Aye.
Aye, and Ms. McGrady is a yes, so it passes by a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. We are on C. The Board of Trustees approved the attached contract PS 2021-22-06 with Ed Files as presented. May I have a motion? Motion. I think that was Ms. Nguyen and Ms. Perrell second. Is that all right? Yes. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez.
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell. Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin.
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush. Aye. Mr. Brady is a yes, and the item passes by a vote of 5-0 with the student board member voting yes. We are on D, approval of short-term staff permit. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and direct the Assistant Superintendent of Personnel Services to submit a short-term staff permit allowing this individual to teach in the subject areas indicated. May I have a motion? Motion.
I second.
Okay, so that was Ms. Perrell and Ms. Nguyen. Do we have any discussion? Hearing now, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Ms. Perrell. Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin.
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush.
Aye.
Aye. Ms. McGrady is an aye. The item passes by a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. I would like to suggest the next three are approval of variable term waiver. If the board is agreeable, let's vote on these three together. Did I get a consensus?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and direct the Assistant Superintendent of Personnel Services to submit a variable term waiver for the following three individuals. This is for E, F, and G. May I have a motion? Okay, Mr. Rush, thank you. A second? Second. I'm not sure, was that, okay, Ms. Perrell, thank you. Do we have any discussion? Okay, once again, it's for all three. We'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell? Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Aye. Ms. McGrady is an aye, so that passes by a vote of 5-0 with the student board member voting yes. So let me jump forward now. We are on, make sure y'all help me, make sure I'm not skipping anything. We're on 8 business services action items. Is that correct? That's where we are, right? Okay. When we skip forward like that, sometimes I mess up. So we are on the change order for the Holston building. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve a change order number 6 to Gary Little Construction Incorporated and authorize Brian Hawkins to execute the change order on behalf of the district. May I have a motion? Motion. Mr. Perrell, a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Rush. Any discussion?
I do have a comment. I know that I give Mr. Hawkins a hard time, especially about change orders. But I don't say it often enough. Mr. Hawkins, thank you for the work that you do. I know you cross every T and dot every I and pay attention to every penny. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez.
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell. Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin.
No.
No. Ms. Nguyen.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush.
Aye.
Aye. Ms. McGrady is an aye, so that passes by a vote of 4-1 with the student board member voting yes. We are on D. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees award a contract with Icc Engineering Systems as the lowest responsible bidder and authorize Brian Hawkins to execute the contract on behalf of the district. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Rush, thank you. Second? Second. And that was Ms. Perrell. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Ms. Perrell. Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin.
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush.
Yes.
Yes. Ms. McGrady is an aye, so the item passes by a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. We are on C. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees award a contract with MGS Construction Incorporated as the lowest responsible bidder and authorize Brian Hawkins to execute the contract on behalf of the district. May I have a motion? Motion.
Second.
Okay, so that was Ms. Perrell and Mr. Rush for first and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez.
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell. Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin.
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush.
Yes.
Yes. Ms. McGrady is a yes, so the item passes by a vote of 5-0 with the student board member voting yes. We are on D. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve Vital Inspection and Services Incorporated for DSA inspection services in support of this AT&T cell tower project at Highland High School. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Ms. Brill, and Mr. Rush was the second. Any discussion?
Yes, I just wanted to, this is Dr. Ruffin. I had an opportunity to talk to Ms. Williams about this, and I just wanted to see if, as a district, did we consider whether or not there are any possible health concerns with the towers that are situated?
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Mr. Hawkins, was that a comment?
Was that a question or a comment? Dr. Ruffin, did you want an answer? You want someone to try to answer that, or was that just a comment?
Yeah, that was a question.
Okay.
Currently, currently the towers that are going in are I think what's considered the 4G. These are the similar towers that have been put up throughout the district for the last several years. The controversy, and I don't know the facts of it, are on a 5G system, and that is not what's going in. To the best of my knowledge, AT&T is only putting in an older 4G system.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, we'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell? Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Wynn?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. McGrady is a yes, and the item passes by a vote of 5-0 with the student board member voting yes. We are on E. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve AESCO as a laboratory in support of the AT&T cell tower project at Highland High School. May I have a motion?
Motion.
That was Ms. Pearl, I believe. A second? Second, Ms. Wynn. Thank you. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Ms. Pearl? Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Wynn?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Aye. And Ms. McGrady is a yes, so the item passes by a vote of 5-0 with the student board member voting yes. We are on F. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the attached master agreement project authorization form. Shade structures at 7 various sites and authorize Brian Hawkins, Assistant Superintendent, to execute it on behalf of the district. May I have a motion?
Motion.
That was Ms. Pearl, a second?
Second.
Second, thank you, Ms. Wynn. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Pearl?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Wynn?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Brady is a yes, so the item passes by a vote of 5-0 with the student board member voting yes. We're on G. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the attached master agreement project authorization form. Palmdale High School site paving and electrical upgrades, and authorize Brian Hopkins, Assistant Superintendent, to execute it on behalf of the district. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Pearl. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Wynn. A second, and any discussion or questions? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Pearl?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Wynn?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. McGrady is an aye, so the item passes by a vote of 5-0 with the student board member voting yes. We are on H. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt Resolution 2021-22-11 as presented. May I have a motion?
I move.
Ms. Wynn, thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Pearl. Any questions or discussion?
I do have a question, Mr. Hawkins. How long do you think it'll take to get this well repaired?
It should be about a week to 10 days tops. They're pretty quick and pretty efficient at what they do for deep well repairs.
And that water services part of Quartz Hill and then the other campuses to the west?
It services 5 fire hydrants that are around SOAR prep and desert pathways, as well as some athletic fields. But it's primarily the fact that the hydrants are not able to be used at this time until we get that well fixed.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Mr. Martinez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Pearl?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. And Ms. Wynn?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. McGrady is an aye. The item passes by a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. We are on I. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve resolution number 2021-22-12 and authorize Brian Hawkins, Assistant Superintendent, to execute all required documents on behalf of the district. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Burrell. A second.
Second.
I think I heard Mr. Rush first. Any discussion or questions? Okay, let's call for the vote. Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Burrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Wynn?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Aye. Mr. Grady is an aye, so it passes by a vote of 5-0, with our student board member voting yes. We are now at the consent agenda. Actions proposed for consent agenda are items consistent with adopted policies and approved practices of the district and are deemed routine in nature. The board will be asked to approve all of the items in the consent agenda by single vote unless any member of the board asks that an item be removed from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the items listed in the following consent agenda categories: educational services, student services, personnel services, and business services as presented. May I have a motion?
Motion.
And that was Ms. Wynn? Ms. Burrell, thank you. And a second? Second, Mr. Rush. Any discussion, any board member want to pull an item or talk about it for either a vote or for discussion?
Yes, this is Dr. Ruffin. I would like to pull 2 items for a separate vote.
Okay, and two items? What are
Yes,
they?
there's on the, hold on one second, 2202192 and 2202378.
And those are.
And these are under purchase order schedule.
Okay. And these are for a separate vote, correct?
Yes.
Okay, anyone else have anything they would like to?
I would like just for discussion only.
For discussion, okay, Ms. Lynn, let's do that. Okay, what would you like for discussion?
10C,
10C,
10E,
10E,
13A,
13A.
that's all, thank you.
Okay, anyone else have anything for discussion or for a vote? Let's start, if it's all right, with the discussion first, because then we can take a vote on all of those and get those out of the way. Ms. Wynn, 10C.
10C, I just wanted to comment that I feel that the partnership between the U.S. Air Force out at Edwards Air Force Base and the 412 Test Wing is an absolutely amazing partnership. I am very encouraged that these students that will be served well by the information and the mentorship that they receive from the base.
Okay, thank you. 10E.
10E. I actually want to share just a little story about Mr. Scott. This comes from my previous board position on the board. And Mr. Scott was at a conference, and because of his presence at the conference, he ended up in the raffle winning a school bus. I don't know how many people know that or remember that, but the school bus was delivered to the district and he promptly donated it to the district. I thought that was kind of an amazing prize to win, but I just wanted to share that little.
Okay, now we move on to 13A.
13A, I always will thank all of the people who make donations to our students and hope that they understand how much those donations mean to being able to provide enhanced services to our students. Thank you to all of these people.
Okay, so if the board is with me, we will be voting on the consent agenda minus the 2 items that Dr. Ruffin has pulled out for a separate vote. Is everybody clear on what we're doing? Okay. I'm a paper share. Are there any questions concerning that, or we're good? Okay, Mr. Martinez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell? Aye. Aye. That's a good line. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Wynn?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Aye.
And Ms. McGrady is a yes, so that passes 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. So now, Dr. Ruffin, if you'll take us back, we'll try to find these numbers. I was trying to scramble with those. Can you tell us what page it's on? 2202192. Where is it?
Absolutely. let me see if it's numbered right quick. Hold on one second. Okay, it's on page the 22022379 is on page 3 of the purchase order. And 2202192 is on page 1. It's for a separate vote.
Okay, so let's see if we can get those in front of us. I'm looking for page 3, 2202378.
1 and 3 under purchase orders.
Can you tell us what it is?
Let me see. I'm almost in the dark out here. Legal aid for qualified contractors list, and the other one is legal aid request for bids.
Okay, so, okay.
This is under the, it's right under, sorry, Mr. Grady, hold on one second. I'll give you a clear.
Oh, I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
it's right under 13F. My apology.
And before we go any further, I'm so sorry, we have to agendize it. So I need a motion.
Motion.
Mr. Okay, Mr. Rush and Dr. Bill. Mr. Rush was the first and,
We got you, Ms. McGrady. You're doing good.
yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so Mr. Rush did it and Dr. Ruffin will be the second, and now we can talk about it. Okay, which one first? Which
So
one?
under 13F, there's no discussion. Actually, we could vote. We can do the motion for both and vote on them. I just want to vote separately on those.
You want to vote separately or together?
She just would like to vote separately on those.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we will have to do this on each one. So I need to know which one right now we're taking the vote on.
2202192.
Okay, 2202192. Okay, Mr. Hawkins, have you found that one?
Yes, it's about the middle of the page on page 1. It's an Antelope Valley Press. It's a legal ad in a request for bids
Okay,
for his district office, and it was for $699.81. It would have been for one of the action items that we've had where we had to do bids, like tonight. We had 2 of those where we do bids and we have to do the legal ads there.
okay, thank you. Any further questions about that, Dr. Ruffin?
No, I actually know what they're both for. I think in the past, I've already expressed concerns about being able to have some diversity with who we're able to do business with for media. So I'm just voting separately on these 2. That's all.
Okay, so we will call for the vote. Mr. Martinez, how do you vote? Aye. Ms. Perel? Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
No.
No. And Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Rush? Aye. And Ms. Gray is an aye. So it passes 4-1 with our student board member voting yes. So our second one, give us the number one more time.
Yes. 2202378. It's in the same area of 13F and it's on page 3.
It's 4th from the bottom on page 3.
Okay. All right.
I move that we have to, I move that we.
Yes, so you get it on the floor. So you're gonna make a motion to get it on the floor?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We need a second. Okay, Ms. Nguyen did a second. So Dr. Ruffin made our Ms. Nguyen did our second. So now we can actually discuss it. So what's your?
I don't have any discussion. I just want to vote second. I just want to vote separately.
Okay, anyone have any questions or discussion? All right, hearing none. Ms. Martinez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Burrell? Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
No.
No. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. McGrady is an aye, so that passes with a 4-1 with student board member voting yes. So that takes us back to, let me find where I am. Okay, so we are now back to 14, I believe. We are from the board and the superintendent. So, Mr. Martinez, do you have anything you'd like to share tonight?
Nothing to.
Ms. Burrell?
As I was wanting to thank the students, I know they absolutely don't like how our board meetings go, but
Thank you for their presentations. Also, on top of that, staff and administrators, especially administrators, I know you're doing extra work considering how much workload there is. So I want to thank you for all the hard work that you're doing, as well as our teachers. And I hope everyone has a pleasant 4-day weekend. Thank you, Dr. Ruffin.
Yes. I wanted to, a few things. One, I really want to give a amazing shout out to Ms. Williams for the work she has been doing as an interim, communicating with all the board members about the various things that are going on within the district, in addition to the process of supporting all of the efforts with our search for our soon-to-be new superintendent. I also want to give a special shout out to Mrs. Orozco for all of her hard work, all of the clerical staff. Know that your concerns are being heard. I've had people call me about so many different issues and things. And I had an opportunity to go out to several schools last week. And I have to say, major props to Lancaster High School. They have this amazing display in the middle of the courtyard of alumni who've graduated as motivation and inspiration of what our students in that environment can do. And I hear that Knight High School is supposed to be picking up that same concept. There's 4 schools in the district that have the same floor plan, and it's just amazing to see. I also really appreciated the fact that the presentation wasn't just of people who are athletes. It was, doctors and engineers and just all different professions. And it was just great to see that it had a direct connection to the community. I also want to address the concerns of many of our parents and community constituents that came out tonight and that are always speaking up about concerns. Being in education for over 23 years and just looking at the various cultures, I personally do not believe that people who choose to go into education come into this space to harm. I don't believe that. And I believe that we have bad actors, we have good actors everywhere that we go. But I also know that we have work to do. I know that we can get this work done. And a lot, it has to do with understanding the rules of engagement so that people can engage. You have to understand, how does the school board work? Who's able to make what decisions? So it doesn't matter if 2 people on this board don't agree on something. It's not the end of the world. However, the power lies in the 3 individuals who can make that vote and get it passed. Is it the end of the world if that happens? No. We still have a voice as a community to voice our concerns. And I'm loving that everybody came out and are voicing those concerns. And I do believe that this board will listen. I don't think anybody on this board wants any of our students harmed, but it's not just going to come from the inside of these schoolhouse walls. It's going to take us as a community working with our young adults. It's going to take us from the community also looking for other things and other ways that we can engage our students and also help our students understand what those rules or engagements are. I've gone out to the schools. I've seen where students were with masks and without masks. I didn't see anybody being policed about having those masks on or not. I think that we need to be more cognizant of the fact that we are, these are young adults at this high school district. It's not a K-12 district. I saw an article, and I think I shared this with Ms. Williams, of a kindergartner, young Black male in Las Vegas, who went to take, I don't know if it's Las Vegas, but he went to go take his school picture. And when the photographer asked him to remove his mask just for the picture, he was like, no, my mama told me no, that I have to keep this mask on. So if we're talking about safety, I've heard in the past, so many of our staff talk about, ill family members at home. This is not about being vaxxed or unvaxxed. This is about protecting a general and a larger community. And this is how we need to start communicating with one another. You don't have to agree on everything, but we have to come to a common ground. And if it's something that's offensive in our community to anyone in our community, it should be offensive to all of us. And I'm not really sure why that cannot be communicated clearly, but I do understand that it's rooted in white supremacy. And that's just real talk. So I am hopeful that this new superintendent that we're looking for will come into this space with an equity lens. Somebody who will be an equity warrior, somebody who's willing to hear all sides and come together to do what's right and what's just for our students, our staff, our community. And I'm going to end with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ruffin, for those comments. I was able to go to Eastside High School and AV High School's Hall of Fame. And it was interesting in the fact that AV High School's Hall of Fame awardees were from generations some time ago. And Eastside High School's awardees were relatively younger. It was interesting though to hear they had a common comment. They all appreciated the schools that they went to. They were fiercely either bleeding purple or red and black. And I have to say it was encouraging to be around those people and hear their gratitude for the education that they received. I also understand that we had at Corso High School, one of our administrators was a Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Dunn. Thank you for all the work that you did. Yeah. We go by and see your picture on the wall. I'm assuming that's what they do over Corso anyway. And I enjoyed, oh my goodness, the dedication of the fire truck to Highland High School. That was amazing. And I understand it came from San Bernardino County. They retired the fire truck, and that's like basically the next day donated it to Highland High School. Thank you for all of the people that worked hard to get that fire truck over there. And I thought that Mayor Hoffbauer had some amazing comments. It was a very fun event. Thank you, Highland High School. And just one last, I kind of sort of apologize to Mr. Hawkins for giving him a hard time. And I know I can, gosh, this is hard to say. I can be a challenge sometimes to all of you guys. But I want to thank you so much for especially helping me. This is now a year back on the board after being gone for 6 years. And a lot has changed. And I still have a lot to learn, a lot of new faces. You in the meantime, you came up with some new acronyms that weren't there when I left. So I'm learning those as well. But I want to thank each and every member of Cabinet. Chamberlain, thank you for taking on double duty and doing both of those jobs for us. Thank you very much. And thank you, Rachel, too, because I enjoy my conversations and all of the help that you've given me. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Rush.
Thanks to the presenters today from Eastside Lancaster. They did a great job, and I will echo the sentiments of Dr. Ruffin with Shanlon and Mr. Roscoe. They've done a great job during this whole transitional period. I truly appreciate your hard work and dedication to everything. This way you can continue to give Mr. Hawkins a hard time.
Oh, thank you. Oh, my, that just made my day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll just follow up and say the same thing. So, and I thank you, Dr. Ruffin, for starting us down this path, but thank you. Thank you for all your work. It's been wonderful working with you in this capacity. I've enjoyed working with you in your other job too, but it's been great. Thank you. And Ms. Roscoe, what would we do without you? Oh my goodness, you're the glue. So you can't even imagine all the work she's been doing that we're trying to move forward in this next week or two. But thank you for all your efforts. Ms. Williams.
Yes. So things continue to be busy on our campuses, but last week we had over 700 students participate in our first virtual Salute to You. This Saturday, our CTE staff is hosting the 10th annual STEM conference for girls for middle and high school students. Also, football playoffs are underway. Congratulations to Highland, Palmdale, and Quartz Hill on advancing with wins last Friday night. Both Highland and Quartz Hill will host their games this week. So if you're looking for Friday night lights, those are places to be. And then in closing tonight, just in honor of tomorrow's holiday, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to the veterans throughout our community, with a special note of appreciation for our employees who previously served in the armed forces as well. And also in sincere gratitude to Ms. Perrell, who also has served in the armed forces. And hope that you enjoy the day of celebrating your service tomorrow as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We are moving forward. We will now report out. Actually, I skip something. Okay, we'll report out of action taken in closed session and open session vote on administrative hearing and recommendations. Board members present: Jill McGrady, Danita Wynn, Amanda Farrell, John Rush. Board member absent was Dr. Victoria Ruffin. We were on item A, a conference with labor negotiator. The board took no action. Item B, public employee discipline dismissal release. The board took no action. Item C, educational services request to Healthful Living. On a motion by Amanda Farrell, seconded by John Rush, the board approved the request by the following vote. Ms. Farrell, yes. Dr. Ruffin absent. Ms. Wynn, yes. Mr. Rush, yes. Mr. Brady, yes. So the item passed by a vote of 4-0. The administrative hearing panel, may I please have a motion to approve administrative hearing panel recommendations for student expulsion, stand to order as presented the expulsion of 3 students. Okay, motion, Mr. Rush, a second? Second. Ms. Brown, thank you. And we, any questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, and I'm sorry, Mr. Martinez, you don't get to vote on this one. Ms. Perrell, how do you vote? Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
I'm gonna abstain because I stayed in open session.
Oh, yes, you're right. Never mind. Ms. Wynn? Aye. Aye. Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. McGrady? Aye. So it passes by a vote of 4-0. During closed session, the board considered compromise and release agreement STS 22-064, case number 202-106-0843. On a motion by John Rush, seconded by Amanda Farrell, the board approved the agreement by the following vote. Ms. Perrell, yes. Dr. Ruffin absent. Ms. Wynn, yes. Mr. Rush, yes. Ms. Brady, yes. The item passes by a vote of 4-0. Item F, final compromise and release agreement STS 22-066. Case number 202-107-0818. During closed session, the board considered compromise and release agreement STS 22-066. On a motion by John Rush, seconded by Amanda Farrell, the board approved the agreement by the following vote. Ms. Perrell, yes. Dr. Ruffin absent. Ms. Wynn, yes. Mr. Rush, yes. Ms. Brady, yes. The item passes by a vote of 4-0. Item G, during closed session, the board received information from legal counsel on claim number 21-1006001, pending litigation pursuant to subdivision 3 of section 54956.9. On a motion by Amanda Farrell, seconded by Danita Wynn, the board approved to reject the claim by the following vote. Ms. Farrell, yes. Dr. Ruffin absent. Ms. Wynn, yes. Mr. Rush, yes. Ms. McGrady, yes. The item passes, approved to reject the claim by a vote of 4-0. And item H, the conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, the board took no action. We have reached that point in our meeting where I need a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Rush. A second? Second. A second, Ms. Wynn. We have any discussion? I'm sorry, excuse me, Ms. Burrow. I just heard it to the left. Okay. Any discussion or comments? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Martinez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Burrell? Aye. Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Wynn?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Yes, and Ms. McGrady is a yes, so the item passes by a vote of 5-0 with the student board member voting yes. We are adjourned. Be safe.
Oh, thank you.